Devil May Cry is, to this day, one of the best hack and slash titles and even has some survival horror flair from its RE roots. Despite this, being one of the first dives into the genre naturally includes a number of growing pains. What's good? It's Saggi, and I want to go over the worst parts of Devil May Cry 1. DMC was not the first game to include meleeing enemies, so when I tell you these controls make no sense, I mean it's ludicrous. Keep in mind, this will be referring to the PS2 release of the game. Just take a look at these controls. Square being the shoot button is still there, but look at how you swing. Circle? Matter of fact, look at the jump button. Fucking triangle? It's like the layout was created by someone who never touched the controller. And you wanna know the worst part? The controls in the Japanese release were normal. Triangle for melee, square for shoot, X for jump. I understand that this was allegedly a localization thing, but imagine playing a multitude of games where X is always the jump button, and this shit comes out and says triangle. The central theme of the combat in this franchise is style, even in the first entry that has more survival horror elements than any of its brothers. With that being said, the potential of DMC1 combos is noticeably smaller than other games, more specifically the air combos. Dante doesn't even have a standard aerial combination for either weapon he possesses here. Now, I'm not saying that it's completely absent, it's just the possible strings aren't necessarily immediately obvious. For example, most people will turn air raid on and go to town, but no one casually would outright turn it off for the sake of combo potential that they are unaware of. You also can't switch guns mid-combat. No style switching, you get the picture. I also want to mention that many enemies in this game aren't necessarily meant for comboing, but a puzzle to be solved, like using Hell Splitter on Phantom's ass. The faces of our favorite demon franchise are indeed a colorful cast, and we've had a pleasure of seeing where most of them go in terms of story and combat. However, in DMC 1, many characters are present, but we are only allowed to play as Dante. We get this epic synopsis of Sparta's work, and it raises the curiosity of how he would battle, but sadly, we only get a palette swap with Dante. I suppose we can give this game a pass considering we still haven't seen Demon Daddy Sparta in action, not even in a cutscene. Speaking of cutscenes, Trish whoops Tony's ass in the intro and uses electricity, but her debut isn't too funnily enough. Maybe I want to be some Demon Tuckus in one with the electric blonde. Nope, no deal. I want to believe it was some sort of hardware limitation or running out of time, but DMC 2 is literally a worse put together game, but has 3 characters and Sin DT. I wish they utilized some of the content they scrapped for a second character, like the dual machine guns, but alas. DMC draws heavily from the original RE trilogy, with navigation being no exception. The latter franchise, however, usually progresses the map past a point of no return, adding a refreshed area in its place. In DMC 1, you leave the first area and come back late game. The backtracking isn't necessarily a problem, but getting lost certainly can be. Imagine getting off for a day, and when you come back, you forget where the octagon item goes. Sure, you can open the mission menu, but you get some shit like offer the challenge and a way will open or some shit. Play in one sitting and you should be fine though. An honorable mention is this game's difficulty. I've read that, like DMC 3, the normal mode was adjusted to hard and so on in the American release. This type of change is actively unfair to the unknowledgeable and could lead to a miserable experience. I know I can run through the game and enjoy it at any capacity, but what if a casual gamer wants to jump into the series at this game, wants to play it on OG hardware, and has to deal with this untold truth? I don't believe the difficulty change per se, but in the HD collection, it's rectified, so it's one of the best ways to play the trilogy. But what do you think? Are these some of the worst things about the first Devil May Cry, or are there worse? Maybe you don't like the enemy design. Maybe you don't like the DT gauge being symbols instead of a bar like the health. Let me know below. Like, share, subscribe, notify bell, etc. I'm Saggi, and I'm also out.